In this lecture, we're going to talk about the course overview and what you're going to be learning throughout the course. So in section 2, we're going to download and install Creative Cloud and also set up an account. I'll show you how to download Photoshop. In section 3, we'll cover file menu shortcuts, edit menu shortcuts, image menu, layer menu, select menu, filter menu, view menu, window menu, and the help menu shortcuts as well. And the reason why this is important is because when you use keyboard shortcuts, it increases your productivity and efficiency. In section 4, we're going to conclude the course with a conclusion and talk about what's next. So with that in mind, thank you so much for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next lecture. Welcome to section 2 in the Creative Cloud. So in this video, we're going to show you how to set up an account with Creative Cloud. So let's head over to your favorite web browser. In my case, I'm going to use Firefox. Type in Google Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Adobe Creative Cloud right here. And you're going to see right here, start your free trial. So I'm going to click on that. And it's 14 days free, then $52.99 a month. So that's for individuals, students and teachers. It's $20 a month. Business, it's $80 a month after 7 days. So I'm going to do individual. We're going to do 14 days free, then $52 a month. So I'm going to start the free trial. And I'm going to put in my email address. I'm going to continue that. Now it's going to require credit card information. So I'm going to pause the video, put my stuff in, and then click on Start Free Trial. Okay, so now you can see that I've set up my ID, but I need to set up a password to sign in. So I'm going to click on Set Your Password. There we go. So I've set my password. I'm going to hit continue. And we'll save it for now. That's fine. And now what it's going to do is it's going to prompt me to download and install Creative Cloud. So let's save the file. Okay. And in the next video, I'll show you how to install this. I'll see you there. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to install Creative Cloud. Originally, I was going to download and install and show you how to do that, but Adobe decided to download it for us. So I'm going to go to the downloads section here in Firefox, open that up. I'm going to double click on Creative Cloud Setup. And it's going to pop up a window saying, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Click yes. Close that out. I'll hit continue. You're all set. You successfully signed in. Feel free to close this browser tab. Okay, so I'm going to close that and then open up this right here. So it's going to install this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'll see you when we get to 100%. All right, welcome back. So the installation is complete. And now we're going to go inside of the application. It's going to say, welcome to Creative Cloud. We can take a tour, but in this case, we're going to skip. I'm going to maximize this window. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about the different sections of Creative Cloud Desktop. So I'll see you there. Right here. And what I want you to do is right click and pin this to the taskbar just for the moment. And what I want you to do is click on Install on Photoshop. So while that's installing, I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back when it's finished. All right, so that's finished. So what I want you to do is just click on Open and that's going to load up Photoshop. And then what we're going to do is unpin Creative Cloud from our taskbar. Actually, let's leave it there, just in case we need it. But I do want to pin Photoshop. So let's right click and pin Photoshop to the taskbar. And I'm going to move Creative Cloud to the right and keep Photoshop as the main tab here. So what you're going to see, if I do File New, really, I got a program error. I've never seen that before. All right, let me close this out for a second. I'm going to reopen Photoshop. There we go. I'm going to be honest with you. I've used this a long time. I've never seen that happen before. So it's decided to be a little buggy today. But here is the Photoshop splash page. So when you load the program up, you're going to see the little image pop up first. It'll load everything up, and then you'll get the splash page here. So in the next video, I'm going to go over the file menu. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Hello everyone, and welcome back. To this lecture, we're going to talk about the edit menu shortcuts. So let's open up Photoshop if you haven't already. And the first thing I want you to do is create a new document. So we're going to use the keyboard shortcut that we learned in the previous lecture, Control-N, to create a new document. Okay, so if I click inside of Photoshop and I hit Control-N, we're going to give it a name of Untitled 4. I'm going to hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control-Shift-S to save, and we're going to save this on the desktop. And now what I need to do is I need to create some content so we can learn about the edit menu shortcuts, because the ones we're going to be focusing on here is undo, redo, toggle last state, fade, cut, copy, copy merge, paste, and paste special. Those are the first couple that we're going to talk about. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a couple layers here. So go right down here and click on create a new layer. And I'm going to grab the paintbrush, and we're going to kind of go like this. And then I'm going to grab another layer. I'm going to change the color to black, and then we're going to do that. And then I'll do one more. And let's just pick red. That's fine. And we'll do the same thing, okay? Now, so we've created 3 layers. So to undo something, we're going to hit Control-Z. Okay, so that's the first thing. So you can see undo new layer. Now, if we wanted to redo that, we're going to hit Shift-Control-Z, and that will redo what we just undid, okay? To toggle the last state, we're going to hit Alt-Control-Z. So that's going to undo it again. And then to redo it, we're just going to do Control-Shift-Z, okay? So basically what this does is it redos and undoes what we did. And this is important because when you're working with multiple layers and you're editing, let's say you're editing a picture and you're touching something up and you do 50 touch-ups, sometimes you're going to have to undo what you're doing, okay? Once you get very good at it, you're going to do less, but you're still going to need that tool. It's a very important tool in Photoshop, okay? So to do fade, we're going to hit Shift-Control-F, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to pop up here, and you can select the mode, and we can edit the fade. Okay, so what it's doing is we have this one layer selected, layer 3, and we're adding a fade to it. So we can fade it. We can change the mode. So we can do difference. We can do color burn. You know, you can do all sorts of fun stuff for that. Now, to undo that, what are we going to do? We're going to hit Control-Z, and that's going to undo that effect, okay? Now, to cut this layer, we're going to hit Control-X, okay? In fact, you're going to have to hit Control-A to select all, and then Control-X, okay? Now, if you wanted to paste this on a new layer, let's say you wanted to paste it on layer 4, then what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control-V, okay? And if I wanted to paste it in place, we're going to hit Shift-Control-V, okay? If I want to paste into, and I'm going to hide these two layers so we can see what we're doing. Alt-Shift-Control-V to paste into, okay? If we want to search, we're going to hit Control-F. Okay, so we can search inside of Photoshop for different things. Okay, so if I hit that again, it'll disappear. Content aware scale. If you hit Alt-Shift-Control-C, okay, now we know what the content aware scale is, basically, where you can see the border of the layer. Okay, the other way to do that is Control-T, which is the transform tool. Okay, but that's actually what I'm going to be talking right now. Next is the free transform tool is Control-T, and what that's going to do is let you move it around, resize it, etc. So we can change it and move it over here in the corner. Okay, if I hit again, so Shift Control-T, I can shrink it down multiple times. So if I hit Control-Z and bring it back up, and then I want to bring it down one, I hit Control-Shift. Well, actually Shift-Control-T. Either way it works. Control-Shift-T or Shift-Control-T. And what it's going to do is it's going to proportionally drop the size down. Okay, so if I do undo, actually let's redo it. So if I do Control-Shift-Z again, there we go, and then do Control-Shift-T, bring that down, then I can go to this layer, the black brush here, and do the same thing. Okay, and bring that down to size. And then Control-T to transform it or move it. And then there you go. So that is that. Now the color settings, we can do Shift Control-K, and then you can edit the color settings. Okay. Now you're wondering why is this sequence this way? Well, the reason why it's that way is all the keyboard shortcuts are right here. Okay, that we're going over. And now we're going to talk about keyboard shortcuts. So in order to get there, we're going to do Alt-Shift-Control-K. Okay, that's going to take you to the keyboard shortcuts and menus. And what you can do in here, we're on the tools right now, but if I go to application menus, we're in the edit menu right now. You can see all the keyboard shortcuts right here. Okay, and you can add to that. You can click on one, add a keyboard shortcut. I'm not going to do that at this point, but that is a possibility of, changing up the keyboard shortcuts. I want to keep it as default right now so you can learn the ones that they have, and as you're comfortable, then you can move on to that if you see fit. Okay, so I'm going to go to menus, and so like I said, you can go to any menu here and you can edit the Photoshop default keyboard shortcuts to whatever you want. So if you wanted to change something, you could. Okay, so that's the keyboard shortcuts and the menus. So let me go rewind for a second. If I hit Alt-Shift-Control-K, that takes me to keyboard shortcuts. Okay, if I hit Alt-Shift-Control-M, that takes me to the menu section of that. And if I hit Control-K, that takes me to preferences. So that will take me right to preferences, and then I can go in and I can work on whatever I need to in preferences. Okay, so that's the edit menu keyboard shortcuts. All right, so thanks for watching this lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture we're going to talk about the image menu keyboard shortcuts. So let's head over to Photoshop if you're not already there. I actually still have Untitled 4 up on the screen here, so I'm going to hit Control S to save because I see this little star here, which means I need to save. So I'm going to hit OK. And we're going to talk about this menu right here. So they have quite a few shortcuts here. There's some in there. So in adjustments, so we're going to be doing a couple of adjustments first. Then we're going to do auto tone and then image size and camera size. Okay. So that's pretty much going to be this lecture. So the first thing I want to do is I want to give this kind of a wild background. So I'm going to unlock this layer. I'm going to give it a red background with yellow. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the adjustments. Okay, and so we're going to adjust the levels. So I'm going to hit Control L, and we're going to put this on preview. And what you can do is when we start moving stuff around here, you can see what's going on over here. Okay, that's why I picked a darker color, because it's easier to see what we're doing. So if I go like this and move this way, then you can see, okay, that's what it's doing. All right, so if I hit OK and then save that, that's the levels. Okay, now I'm going to hit Control M to go to the curves. Okay, and same thing, we're going to leave the preview on, and then we're just going to move stuff around, and you're going to see it's going to change the color. Okay, so we can move it a little bit up or down. We can also move it this way as well. Okay, so that's the curves. The next thing we're going to talk about is Control U, which is the hue and saturation. So you can really change this up a lot just with the hue and saturation. So we can make it darker, and we can go this way, you know. Okay, and hit OK. Then we can do color balance. So if I hit Control B, now we can do color balance. So I can move the colors this way, that way. So I can go lighter. There you go. Okay, I'll hit OK. We can also do black and white. So if I do Alt Shift Control and B, then what it's going to do is make the background black or a darker color, and then you can edit the, I mean, you can still edit it more, but it essentially is making it that color, black and white, or darkening it, I should say. To invert, we're going to hit Control I. Okay, so invert is going to do the opposite of what we have there. So I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. To desaturate, we're going to hit Shift Control U. Supposedly that worked. Let me see something. Yep, that worked. Okay, I wanted to make sure. To do auto tone, we're going to do Shift Control L. Okay. Now, this is not really a good image for that, so what I want to do is hit Control N. We're going to do Untitled 5. And I'm going to give this kind of a, let's make a new layer here. I'm going to grab the brush, and I'm going to do this and that. And then let's do the background. I'm going to unlock that. We're going to go to a gradient and just kind of do that. And then we'll change this. I'm going to delete this one. Yes. And then I'm going to make a new layer and give it a white brush and then do that. Okay, now we're going to do auto tone. So if we do Shift Control L, it's going to auto tone this. Now, this is really better for an image. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to go to your favorite web browser, whatever that is, Google Chrome, Firefox. We're going to go to Google, and I'm going to type in landscape. Okay, and we're going to go to images and just grab this image here. Okay, I'm going to save as right to the desktop. Close out your browser and then hit Control O and bring the photo in. There you go. Beautiful. Now, if I do the same shortcut of Shift Control L, it's going to auto tone. So you can see what it did here. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo. Okay, so it set the auto tone. So I'm going to redo that. Okay. We can also do auto contrast. So we can do Alt Shift Control L. Okay. and then Shift Control B for auto color. So you can see it changed it again. And if you didn't see it, I'll undo it, and then we'll redo what we just did so you can see it. Okay. So that is the keyboard shortcuts for adjustments and also for auto tone, auto contrast, and auto color. And it's really better for images that you've taken of an environment somewhere. This is not really a good use for those tools because there's nothing to auto tone. It's already got everything it needs. So I'm going to save this with Control S and then close this one out with Control W. And then this image, what I want to do is I want to look at the image size. So we're going to hit Alt Control L. Nope, that's the wrong one. Alt Control I. There we go. And you're going to see the image size here. So we have the original size and it's in inches right now. So if we want to change that to pixels, it's 1,000 pixels by 667 pixels, and it's 72 DPI, or the resolution is 72 dots per inch. So it's a lower res image. So I'm going to hit OK. Now, if we wanted to see the canvas size, we're going to hit Alt Control C, and now we can see what the size is, the canvas, so the background of this. So there's a differentiation between the canvas size and the image size. The canvas size, if I change this to 1200, okay, we're going to have space on the right and the left. And then if I hit Alt Control again and C, if I hit the right keys, there we go. And I did 1200 here. Okay, we're going to have space, the top and the bottom, everywhere, because the image itself, this image, if we look at it again, Alt Control I and not L, I keep hitting L, my apologies. The width and the height of this is only 1200. Okay, now it's gone up, but when we looked at it before, it was not 1200 by 1200. So we can actually shrink this down. We could do 600 by 600, okay? And we keep the canvas the way it is, okay? So that's the difference between image size and canvas size. But again, I want to focus on the keyboard shortcuts, and that's why it's important to understand these, because if you're working with a lot of images, you want to use a lot of these keyboard shortcuts. You're going to use levels, curves, hue and saturation, color balance, black and white, invert, desaturate, auto tone, auto contrast, auto color are commonly used tools that quickly get your images where they need to be right away. And then if you have to adjust the image size or the canvas size, then you can do that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to talk about the layer menu shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to close out this image that we worked with in the previous video. So I'm going to save it. And Untitled 4, we'll just hit Control S and then Control W to close that out. Now, what I want to do is hit Control N, and we're going to do Untitled 6. Okay, I'm going to hit Control Shift S, and we're going to save that to the desktop. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to learn about the layers. Okay, so we're going to talk specifically about the layer menu, and a lot of the shortcuts here are going to be ones that you can see right in front of you here. Right there and then right here. Okay, so I just want to give you kind of a visual aid on that. So if I hit, so I want you to watch from down here or wherever your layers panel is. If we hit Shift Control N, what that's going to do is it's going to prompt up a new layer. Okay, so we can name it whatever we want. We can also give it a color, and we can put it in a mode. So if you want to give it a different mode, then you can. I'm going to leave it as normal. I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see layer 1 is red, and it's selected, right? So if I do another one, let's do Shift Control N, and let's give this one orange. Okay, and we'll just keep it layer 2. And then let's make another one. and we're going to give it yellow. Okay, and then we'll make another one, and we're going to give it the color green, and we'll do 3 more. So we're going to do blue, violet, and then gray. Okay, so we should have a total of 7 new layers that we've created with this keyboard shortcut. And the reason why that's important, okay, the reason why creating a new layer is important is because I use this tool all the time. Whenever I need a new layer, Shift Control N, this is one of the main keyboard shortcuts I use. Okay, I could spend an entire course just talking about layers. So the point is that new layer is a great keyboard shortcut, okay? And it's going to make your life so much easier. So the next thing we're going to talk about is layer via copy. So if I hit Control J, it's going to copy layer 7, which I got to be honest, I didn't even know that you could do that. That's awesome. That's something that I learned when I was researching for this course, okay? Now, if we want to cut that layer, we can hit Shift Control J. And what that's going to do, so if I hit Shift Control J, it's going to cut the layer, and then we're going to hit, let's see, how do I paste this then? Okay, well, that's to duplicate it. The cut, I guess I'll just delete it. The layer via cut, I don't even know why that's a keyboard shortcut, honestly. If we wanted to export a layer as a JPEG, you hit Shift Control exclamation point or apostrophe. Okay, and it's empty, right? So let's do this. Let's grab a brush, and I'm going to do that, and then we'll try it again. And now you can see I can export it right from the layer. That's awesome. So that's a quick export as PNG is what that is. So if I save this as layer 7 and then minimize this for a second, you can see right here we have layer 7, okay? So how cool is that to be able to go from the layer and just quick export it out as a quick export as PNG. That's awesome. Now, if you want to export as, we're going to hit Alt, Shift, Control, apostrophe, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to take us to the prompt menu where we can select the format and select a lot more options here. So I can export all, and we're going to call this layer 78 instead of 7, so I can save it. And then when I go to the desktop, there it is, right here. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to save this with Control S. Now, the next thing we can do is create a clip-in mask. So if I hit Alt, Control G, okay, what that's going to do is it's going to mask what I have. So layer masks are really cool. Basically, the idea behind it is you put an object here, and then you can mask over it with something. Or you can hide part of it and then show other parts of it. That's another entire course I can go over. So I'm not going to cover it in depth. I'm just going to give you a broad stroke, and that's really the broad stroke at this point. Now, the next shortcut is group layers. So if we hit Control G, this is a crazy cool keyboard shortcut because I just did that 6 times, right? So if I hit Control Z, okay, and go back, you see that I don't have to even use my mouse really when I'm doing this. You still need the mouse for this, but that's all you should be using the mouse for, is for that. Like, I shouldn't have to use it for tools. I should know what the shortcuts are so that I can, you see what I'm doing here? I'm going haywire right now. But the point is that if you know the keyboard shortcuts, you don't need to use this or this at all, really. And then you can focus on getting work done. So anyway, Control G is an awesome keyboard shortcut because you can create groups with this. So I can grab these layers, throw them up here, grab these layers, throw them in group 2. Okay. And if you highlight it and then hit Control G, they go inside, right? So if I created, so let's go outside of the box here and we're going to do Shift Control N. So we'll do a couple layers here. Just make 4 layers. Highlight them, then hit Control G, and now you have group 4. That's how easy it is. And that makes it really easy to group layers. Now if you don't want to ungroup, you hit Shift Control G, okay, and then it will ungroup it. If you want to hide the layers, hit Control and comma, that will hide the layers. You want to unhide the layers, do the same thing. If you want to lock the layers, Control \, and that will lock the layers. Now, these are 2 keyboard shortcuts, again, that I did not know before I researched this. What I've been doing is the old school way, which you highlight it and then you click on this. So I've actually learned a few things here, and I'm quite proud of saying that I'm always willing to learn something. So I'm never the smartest person in the room. I'm kind of in the middle, okay? So let me undo that. Now you can merge down. So if I hit Control E, what this is going to do is it's going to merge all those layers together, okay? And then merge visible, we're going to hit Shift Control E. And that will do all of them. So all the layers were grouped together. So you can merge down, which means any layers that are highlighted, they're going to merge together. And then merge visible means all your layers are going to be flattened into one. So if you want to export this out as an image, it will do that if you save it as an image. But this is another way you can do that, where if you want to, merge them together, that's a way to do it. All right, so I'm going to save this file. I'm going to undo that and undo that as well. And thanks for watching this lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to talk about the select menu keyboard shortcuts. So let's go to the select menu just real quick so I can show you what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about select all, deselect, reselect, inverse, all layers, find layers, select a mask, and that's really it. All right, so let's do it. So I left this Untitled 6 open because we already have layers here. So I'm going to hit Control A to select layer 8 only, Control D to deselect. So this is a tool, Control A and Control D, I use all the time. I absolutely love this tool because what it does, if I go to layer 7, right, and I Control A, Control C, Control X, and then do Control Shift N and make layer 12 and Control V, I can paste it in here. And then if I do this, I can move it around with Control T, Control A, allows me to move it as well because it's a selection tool. So that's another way you can do it. And then Control D to deselect. Okay. Now to reselect, we're going to do Shift Control D. Okay. And then Control D to deselect. Inverse is going to be Shift Control I. Actually, it's L. Okay. Control Z to undo that. So Shift Control L to inverse. Control Z to uninverse. To select all layers, we're going to hit Alt Control A. Okay. So that'll select all the layers that are not locked. Okay. Alt Shift Control. That's a funky one. Alt Shift Control F to find layers. You can search right there. So if you have a whole panel, let's say you have 100 layers, right? So let's do that for a second here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, I'm not going to do 100 layers. I'll do 20 layers. So use the keyboard shortcut Control Shift N and make 7 more layers or however more you need to get to 20. And then what you can do is you can use Alt Shift Control F to find a layer. So we'll do layer 1. Okay, there's layer 1. So it popped up. Okay, so it's just a quicker way to even get to this. I mean, you can click there and do it, but if you're over here and then you want to do it, it's all about speed. So you do whatever you need to do. So now what we can do is we can select all the layers with Alt Control A. Okay, if it lets me. It was working. What's it doing? Here we go. Alt Control A. All right, I'm going to do it old school. I'm going to hold Shift and select all. There we go. We're going to select and mask. So I'm going to do Alt Control R. Okay. Let's go to layer 12 and try that again. So we're going to do Alt Control R. Okay. So now hit OK. And there you go. So now we've masked that layer. Okay. So that is the select menu keyboard shortcuts. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the filter menu keyboard shortcuts. So let's head over to Photoshop. If you're not already there, open up Untitled 6 for me. So I'm going to hit Control S to save this because I've been using this for a couple videos now. And we're going to learn about filter. Okay, so if you ran a filter, so like liquefy, I just clicked on this and there's not really anything we can do with this per se. So let's hit Control O. We really need an image. And grab our image. And what I'm going to do is now I can give it kind of a filter gallery. Or click on the filter gallery and just give it an effect. Okay. Now what you can do is if you hit Alt Control F, it's going to do the last filter. Okay. We can also do different filters. So if I do Alt Shift Control A, it's supposed to do an adaptive wide angle. Okay, there we go. So that did work, sort of. Okay, so I'll hit OK. Then we can do camera raw filter. So if I do Shift Control A, okay, click Get Started, then I can, mess around with this and just kind of play with the levers here. Hit OK. All right, then I can do lens correction. So if I do Shift Control R, we can do lens correction. So I'll hit OK. We can liquefy. So Shift Control X will liquefy. So if I just do this, can kind of go wild. And then vanishing point. So if I do Alt Control V, okay, are you sure you want to convert colors? Yes. Okay. There you go. And then I'll hit OK. Okay. Now, that's how you use the keyboard shortcuts for filter. So that's just these right here. All right. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right. Welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk briefly about the view menu keyboard shortcuts. So you can see here, if I go to view, we can look at proof colors, gamut warning. So Control Y, Shift Control Y for gamut warning. Zoom in, I'll show you that one. Zoom out, fit on screen, 100%. Extras, snap. So this one's already on. So if you hit Shift Control and then this little thing right next to the Enter key, and etc. Ruler is Control R. So the ones we're going to focus on are these four right here. So we're going to talk about zoom in. So Control plus, zoom out, Control minus, fit on screen, Control 0, and then 100% is Control and 1. Okay? So that is, in a nutshell, the view menu keyboard shortcuts. There's not a lot in this menu, which is okay. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the window menu keyboard shortcuts. So if I go to window, just real quick so I can show you, you can see some of the keyboard shortcuts here. You have F7 for layers, F8 for info, colors, brush settings, and then action right there. Okay, so those are the ones we're going to talk about. Now the first thing I want to talk about though is the tab key. So if I hit tab, that's going to hide all the tools, and if I hit F and then F again, that's going to get us to full screen mode. Okay, so if I hit F again and hit tab, everything comes back. Okay, now if I hit Alt F9, my actions panel pops up, and if I hit it again, it disappears. Brush settings, if I hit F5, it should pop up and then disappear. Color, if I do F6, it's going to pop up and then disappear. Info, F8. Really, where's info? It should work. There it is. So if I hit F8, it doesn't want to work. Okay. I'm hitting F8. I don't know why it's not working. So I'll just hide it. And then the last one is layers. So if I hit F7, it's going to hide it and then bring it back. Okay. So that's the window menu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture. Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video we're going to talk about the help menu keyboard shortcuts. So let me go to the help menu real quick, just so you can see. And we're only going to talk about one keyboard shortcut, which is awesome. So if I hit F1, supposedly if I hit F1, wow, it does not want to work for me. That's awesome. So I'm just going to go click on the help menu and hit it. Photoshop help. What it's supposed to do, see, it did work. It just didn't pop up. See, I opened up 2 tabs here along with this one. So it did work. When you hit F1, what it's going to do is take you to your default web browser and take you to helpx.adobe.com so you can get more help on Photoshop. All right. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Congratulations on finishing Learn Photoshop Menu Keyboard Shortcuts. Thank you so much for joining me on this course. I hope to see you again down the road in another future course. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me by message. Shoot me your questions, shoot me your concerns, and let me know what you think about the course. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.